You may have heard people throwing around the idea that a leaky gut, also known as intestinal permeability, may be contributing to your health condition, whatever that health condition is. I work with people who have inflammatory skin conditions such as eczema or topical steroid withdrawal, but this video will be helpful for anyone suffering from any conditions that might be caused by leaky gut. In this video, we will answer the following questions. What exactly is a leaky gut? How does a leaky gut contribute to skin conditions? How do we test for leaky gut syndrome? What makes a leaky gut worse? And finally, how do we treat leaky gut syndrome? All right, let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is Larry. Welcome to Fighting Eczema. Before we begin, has anyone ever told you that leaky gut syndrome is just a theory and might not even be a real thing? Well, from 2014 to today, which is June 2024, so about 10 years, there have been over 150 published scientific studies that have leaky gut in their titles. This is a lot of published studies. We literally have scientists and researchers with PhDs getting paid to research leaky gut syndrome. So if you still don't believe in leaky gut syndrome, go talk to those researchers. So what exactly is leaky gut syndrome? Here's a great image from Michigan Health and Wellness Center that illustrates leaky gut syndrome quite well. So on the left here, we have a normal gut. And as you can see, the cells lining the gut are tightly packed. A tight gut lining prevents foreign material like pathogens, as you can see up here, from getting into the bloodstream. Now on the right, we see a leaky gut. The cells on this side are not tightly packed, and so foreign material can get through. Once these foreign materials get into the bloodstream, your immune system will be alerted and then lead to the attacking of this foreign material by your immune system. So how does this link back to skin conditions? Remember, inflammatory skin conditions such as eczema or TSW are often called immune system conditions because immune system dysregulation often contributes to these skin issues. Leaky gut is often a factor that contributes to immune system dysregulation through the mechanism that we just discussed, which then leads to your skin issues. So the pathway here is you have an inflammatory skin condition. That inflammatory skin condition is caused by immune system dysregulation. That immune system dysregulation is caused by a leaky gut. So the idea here is you fix your leaky gut, that will fix your immune system dysregulation, and that will lead to you fixing your skin. Another important idea to bring up here is that a lot of people who think that food sensitivities are contributing to their skin issues don't actually have food sensitivities. What they actually have is a leaky gut. So going back to this image, on the right, you can see these pathogens passing through the leaky gut. These pathogens may include undigested food particles. Let's say maybe you notice that every time you eat eggs, you have a skin flare-up. So you would think that you are sensitive to eggs, right? Well, if you have a leaky gut, those egg proteins might be passing through these loose junctions here, and then your immune system might be like, what are these weird egg proteins doing here? Let's attack. This is what leads to that immune system dysregulation and ultimately a skin flare-up. If you have a normal gut, as seen on the left side, those egg proteins will stay up here in the digestive tract and not trigger your immune system. Instead, they will be digested normally. And so if you are someone who has had an IgG or IgE food sensitivity blood test done, and lots of things came back as high sensitivity, you may not actually have sensitivity to those foods, but instead you have a leaky gut. And so your immune system is reacting to almost everything. Let's talk about what makes leaky gut syndrome worse. It's possible that you are engaging in these things and making your leaky gut worse without even knowing. The first one is a microbiome imbalance. Your gut contains both good bacteria and bad bacteria. The bad bacteria will be producing compounds that damage your gut, contributing to a leaky gut. So if you have too much of this bad bacteria, your leaky gut will continue to get worse. On the other hand, the good bacteria in your gut will actually provide protection to your gut lining. Next is diet. Certain foods seem to be more associated with a leaky gut. For example, diets high in fructose, glucose, and sucrose, so basically high sugar foods, seem to make leaky gut worse. In contrast, a diet high in fiber seems to be associated with lower risk of leaky gut, and also increasing fiber intake is actually used as a treatment to treat leaky gut. We will talk more about certain foods when we talk about how to treat leaky gut. Another thing that can make a leaky gut worse is infections. Anytime you get some sort of stomach flu, that bacteria or virus is going to do damage to your gut lining. Same with food poisoning or really any sort of digestive system infection. So if you are someone who gets these infections easily, you have a higher chance of having a leaky gut. Now this sort of brings us to the next thing that can make leaky gut worse, and that is antibiotics and other medications. Antibiotics are often needed to kill off that bad bacteria, but they also often kill off a lot of good bacteria. Again, good bacteria play a key role in preventing leaky gut. Other medications that seem to increase risk of leaky gut include NSAIDs such as Advil and aspirin, as well as paracetamol, also known as acetaminophen or Tylenol. Next up is stress. Not a lot is known about why stress increases risk for leaky gut, but studies seem to show some sort of link. An interesting human study showed that people who were acutely stressed due to public speaking had increased gut permeability. The proposed mechanism is that increased cortisol levels seem to promote leaky gut. Another study showed that pregnant moms who were more stressed during their pregnancy had increased levels of cortisol, again during pregnancy, and that led to babies being born with poor gut microbiome and therefore increased risk of a leaky gut. Now, if you're a mom watching this because your child has eczema, is it your fault that your child has eczema? Hell no! Being pregnant itself is super stressful, right? So there's absolutely zero reason for you to be blaming yourself. Lastly, alcohol seems to be something that worsens leaky gut. Researchers believe it has something to do with the alcohol interacting with the healthy fats that line your gut, and so this interaction leads to the breakdown of these important fats and therefore breakdown of the gut lining. Okay, now very briefly, let's talk about how to test for leaky gut. Tests for leaky gut are generally done through fancy tests like stool tests or urine tests. In my opinion, I don't really like to recommend tests for leaky gut syndrome. The reason is, these tests might not be very accurate. Also, it might be difficult for you to find somewhere to do these tests, depending on where you live. And it will likely be super expensive. My recommendation is to just work with someone who can treat you as if you have leaky gut syndrome. With my clients, I always assume that they have a leaky gut and will design my treatment plan around that. If they do have a leaky gut, their skin will improve with treatment. If we treat someone who doesn't actually have a leaky gut, they will still get the benefits of improved gut health anyways. The worst case scenario is you spend some money on supplements that don't actually do anything. Alright, so before we talk about how to treat a leaky gut, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button on this video if you're finding it helpful. You can also check out our Instagram at fighting_eczema for more free information on how to heal your skin, as well as lots of memes. Okay, so how do we treat a leaky gut? Let's talk about a few different treatment options. Number 1, eat gut healing foods. There are so many foods that are generally good for the gut. Two of my favorites are fermented vegetables and bone broth. I'm not going to go deep into diet here because everyone reacts differently to different foods. I definitely recommend looking up gut healing foods and trying to incorporate some of those foods into your current diet. Ideally, you want to work with a healthcare professional to create a proper long-term diet plan for you and your skin. The reason for this is because they will be able to help you determine what foods you might potentially be sensitive to. For example, if you are sensitive to histamine, bone broth might not be the best gut healing food for you because it's quite naturally high in histamine. Another example is kefir. Kefir is generally considered a gut healing food. However, if you are sensitive to dairy, it might not work for you. Speaking of kefir, one of the reasons it's often described as a gut healing food is because it contains a lot of good bacteria, also known as probiotics. This brings us to the second leaky gut treatment, probiotics. Probiotics play a major role in protecting the gut lining. Although there are many proposed mechanisms as to why probiotics can help with leaky gut, one of the main theories is that this good bacteria produces proteins called mucins, and these mucins basically line the cells of your gut, kind of like a protective blanket over your gut cells. This blanket then prevents those pathogens from getting in and abnormally alerting your immune system. Next up, vitamin A and vitamin D. Studies suggest that vitamin A and vitamin D are important vitamins involved in gastrointestinal health. So if you are potentially low in vitamin D or vitamin A, this could compromise your gut health and therefore increase your risk of leaky gut. Those of you in my Fighting Eczema programs know that I love optimizing vitamin D levels, and this is just one reason why. One of my favorite supplements for treating leaky gut is glutamine. Glutamine is an amino acid that cells in your gut just love. Just like how alcoholics love alcohol, gut cells love glutamine. Studies also show that glutamine and probiotics work better together. Again, those of you in my coaching programs will likely have taken this glutamine and probiotics combo. Another method of treating leaky gut involves medicinal herbs. Herbs like chamomile, marshmallow root, ginger, and peppermint all seem to have some sort of evidence to suggest that they can help reduce leaky gut symptoms. Personally, I like to use herbs as a sort of secondary treatment. For example, if you have a leaky gut but you also have sleep issues, chamomile can be a great herb to incorporate because it can tackle both of those issues. Or if you have a leaky gut but you also have joint pain or arthritis, ginger can be the perfect supplement to kind of tackle both of those things. So as you can see, a leaky gut can be somewhat complex to treat and ultimately should be tailored to you as an individual. If you want to work with me to create a long-term plan that is specific to you and your skin, you can check out our coaching programs at fightingeczema.com. Through my coaching programs, I offer guaranteed coaching, meaning that I will work with you until your skin clears, no matter how long that takes. Remember, leaky gut is just one potential root cause of your skin issues. There are probably 20 plus other root causes that you should be looking into. If you want to learn more about how to heal your skin, check out one of the videos that has just popped up on your screen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.